Architecture is often seen as the art of building, but in truth, it is much deeper than that. It is the science of shaping space, the art of designing human experience, and the responsibility of maintaining balance between people, nature, and time. Architecture is not just about walls, roofs, and windows. It is about meaning. It is about how humans interact with the world, and how the world interacts back through the spaces we create. Throughout history, architecture has been the language of civilizations. The pyramids of Egypt tell a story of power and eternity. The Greek temples express balance and harmony. The Great Wall of China speaks of defense and endurance. And the domes and arches of Islamic architecture reflect unity, beauty, and submission to a higher order. Each structure is not random. It carries the soul of its people. It tells us what they valued, what they feared, and what they hoped for. But what does architecture mean in the bigger picture of existence? The Quran reminds us, "It is He who has produced you from the earth and settled you in it." Surah Hud 1161. The word settled implies design, responsibility, and purpose. Humans are not guests on earth without direction. They are builders, shapers, and caretakers. Architecture, therefore, is not merely construction. It is a trust. Every building we raise either fulfills or betrays that trust. Think about the earliest human settlements. Villages were not placed randomly. They grew near rivers, fertile valleys, and sources of protection. Ancient architecture worked with nature, not against it. Houses in hot climates had thick mud walls to keep cool. Homes in colder areas had sloped roofs to shed snow. Cities were designed around courtyards for family life, shade, and airflow. These designs were not guided by advanced technology, but by observation of the natural order. Today, science calls this sustainable design. But the principle is ancient. Live in balance with creation. Modern architecture, however, often forgets this balance. In the race to build taller towers, larger malls, and endless highways, we sometimes cut down forests, block rivers, and pour concrete over fertile soil. Cities grow so fast that green space disappears and air becomes hard to breathe. Science warns us of the consequences: urban heat islands, flooding from poor drainage, and pollution from unchecked expansion. The Quran cautions against this excess. Indeed, the wasteful are brothers of the devils. Surah Al-Isra 17:27. Waste in architecture is not progress, it is arrogance. A building, if designed properly, should not only provide shelter but also inspire harmony. Light, air, and space are not luxuries. They are human needs. Ancient architects studied the sun's path to bring light into homes naturally. They aligned windows with prevailing winds for ventilation. They designed cities with gardens and water channels for comfort and beauty. Today, architecture that follows these same principles is known as green architecture or biophilic design. The Quran encourages such reflection. Do they not look at the camels, how they are created, and at the sky, how it is raised, and at the mountains, how they are set up, and at the earth, how it is spread out? Surah Al-Ghashiyah 88:17-20. These verses are an invitation to study nature's structures and imitate their wisdom. In fact, nature is the greatest architect. Bees build hexagonal hives with mathematical precision, maximizing strength while minimizing material. Birds weave nests that withstand wind and rain. Termites create towering mounds with natural ventilation that keeps the entire colony at stable temperature. Today, scientists and architects study these natural structures through biomimicry, learning design from nature. It shows that the Quran's call to reflect on creation is not only spiritual advice, but also scientific guidance. Architecture is also social. It determines how humans connect with one another. Narrow shaded streets in old towns encouraged walking and meeting neighbors. Courtyards in traditional houses allowed families to gather while still having privacy. Religious and communal buildings have always been designed not only as places of worship, but also as spaces of unity. The Quran acknowledges this human need for meaningful spaces. And Allah has made for you from your homes a place of rest. Surah An-Nahl 16:80. A home is not just a shelter from rain and heat. It is security, dignity, and peace. Now, modern science is rediscovering what ancient builders already knew. Green roofs reduce city temperatures. Clay and mud walls insulate better than concrete. Solar panels and wind turbines can turn buildings into sources of energy rather than drains on resources. None of these are truly new ideas. They are simply humanity remembering the principle of balance. The Quran commands humility in our relationship with the earth. And do not walk upon the earth arrogantly. Indeed, you will never tear the earth apart, nor will you reach the mountains in height. Surah Al-Isra 17-37. Architecture that aims to dominate nature will always fail. Architecture that respects it will endure. But architecture is not just physical. It is cultural and spiritual. A great building is not only measured in meters and floors, but in meaning. A library represents knowledge. A hospital represents care. A school represents hope. And a place of worship represents connection to the Creator. Architecture is storytelling through stone, wood, glass, and steel. What we build tells future generations who we were. The challenge today is clear. Will we build cities that are soulless, consuming resources without mercy? Or will we build cities that breathe, that respect nature, and that allow communities to flourish? Will we design homes that isolate people, or homes that encourage family and unity? Will we raise monuments to arrogance or structures of wisdom and service? Architecture, at its best, is a bridge between science, art, and morality. It is the balance of function and beauty, of utility and meaning. It reminds us that every building is more than shelter. It is a statement of who we are and who we aspire to be. In the end, the greatest architecture is not simply measured by size or height, but by harmony, sustainability, and the legacy it leaves behind.